Why do we need a spiritual revival in the church? Why we think that all those who are coming to church, they are revived, they are renewed? So why do we have revival if we are all spiritual, if we are all godly, if we are all holy? If at all we are okay, then why do we need spiritual revival? And that may be my subtopic of today. Why do we need spiritual revival as a church? Why do you need spiritual revival as a member of Marekani, as a believer, as a person who term yourself you have been saved? More so, we have walked with the theme, salvation by grace. You have received salvation. So why do you need revival? There is an urgency of us to have a spiritual revival. And this is because before God, the Lord is looking at us as if we have failed to some point. You may go to your family. You may look at your family, reflect to your family, see the life in your family. Are you okay? There is something that you need to revive. Come to your place of work. Are you okay at that place of work? No. There is need of revival. We come to the church leadership. Are we okay with the leadership we are having? No, there is a need of revival in that leadership. We come to our services. How are we taking our services? There is need of revival. How are we taking our time? There is need of revival on the issue of time. Our talking, our thinking, there is need of revival. Our fellowshipping together, there is need of revival. And to some people, to some churches, and also, I'm not ashamed to speak about our church of God. Our church of God has been having the sin of contentment. Dhambi ya kuridhika, dhambi ya kutosheka. We are okay with everything. And that has become the sin of the church of God believers. Even to the pastors of church of God. They have the sin, what we call the sin of contentment. Yani wameridhika, they do not even need any revival in their life, any revival in the part of spiritual. Even in the leadership of the church. We are rotten, but we do not want to accept ourselves that we are rotten. We feel we are okay. And when we feel we are okay, wewe unapofika katika jamii yako and then you feel you are okay na ile hali yenye uko ndani, then wewe una inherit dhambi ambayo tunasema kwamba dhambi ya kuridhika, dhambi ya kutosheka. And that is what is killing our church. That is what is killing our family. Even in our country, when we sit and we say we are okay, we are into sin ya kuridhika. Mahali popote ambapo uko, ukiona ya kwamba mambo yote ambayo unayafanya umetosheka nayo, ujue ya kwamba wewe uko na dhambi moja ambayo inastahili, you have to revive. Dhambi ya kusema ya kwamba umefika na umetosheka. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. That is one of the sins. And so it came to the Israelites as Chronicles, as the person who read the 2nd Chronicles chapter 34. And before we come to that chapter 34, before this king Josiah came in, we had some other leaders who were before him. And when they were before him, there were things that these kings did before the Lord. And the Lord was not pleased with these things. kingdom had been taken to captivity because of their sin and their kings. And so, the southern kingdom, which is Judah, was almost also to be taken to captivity. Manasseh sinned, who was the grandfather of Josiah, whom we are going to speak about. His father Ammon sinned before God. And so, this King Josiah is coming to inherit the sin of his forefathers. A king coming to reign with an age of 8 years. It is unimaginable, unbelievable. A person coming to reign with even you haven't reached a teenage age, you come to reign, you come to leadership. I think it cannot happen in the whole world. But this happens by the grace of God and by the power of God, that Josiah had to come and took the leadership with 8 years. I don't know how he managed to speak to people, how he managed to gather the gathering, and how the gathering had to listen to him with an age of 8 years. But this is a king who brought revival, who brought the spiritual revival to the nation of Judah. And people listened to him. People had to listen keenly about what is this king speaking about. And before he brought reformation, he resettled, he reformed, he confessed the sin of his father, the sin of his great father, who is Manasseh. One of the worstest things that Manasseh did is taking his own children, sacrificing them before the idol worship, before the carved image. He celebrated his children dying, being put on fire, being burned before the idols, celebrating before an image. It was the worstest sin that Manasseh, the great father, the grandfather of Josiah, it was the worstest thing that this king Manasseh did. And so, this child is coming to take the lead as a king. When all this has happened in the community, how are people viewing this young child, young boy even? How are they viewing him? But for him, in verse 1, Josiah was 8 years old when he became the king. And he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of God, and walked in the ways of his father, David. He did not turn aside to the right nor to the left. Whatever there is need of revival, but this revival, this reformation has to start with the leadership. If it is a church of God, it has to start with our Archbishop, who is Reverend Dr. James Opunde. It has to start with him. And if we come to Marakani here, then we have to start with the reformation from our elder overseer. Then we come to we, the pastors, who are leading the churches. We need to reform first before we can do any reformation to others. Before we bring an agenda of reformation to the lives of